This is the end, I'm afraid, lads. This is the end. Nelly, she's back just for one last time. She's going to do one last neigh. There we go. She's been a noble steed for at least 3 of the cruel walls. Yeah, she had a sneeze at the end there. Yeah, it's alright, Nelly. It's been nice knowing you. And all these hats now, while I'm on my merry way. Of course. Don't know what I'm going to do with them now. I'm lost. I'm completely lost. But as always, we're going to kick things off on the final cruel wall of the 2018 season at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix with the race winner, which was Lewis Hamilton, of course. And for all of you that might just be joining now, thinking, what the hell is this series? I've never seen it before. Why is this in my notifications and recommendations? This is the cruel wall. I award drivers from 10 down to 0. Bonus points for the special scores. Minus points for the really crap scores. And with that, Lewis Hamilton sadly is disqualified from the cruel wall. For feeling sorry for Bottas after he overtook him at Russia, but not doing anything about it. He had 30 odd laps later back through and didn't, so there you go. But Lewis Hamilton this weekend drove faultlessly. Absolutely amazing weekend by him. Yeah, he's going to be the one to beat again, isn't he, in 2019, really? And the team's going to be the team to beat as well. Yeah, fantastic weekend and a fantastic season by Hamilton. I know I'm not a Hamilton fan, and you know that, but a fantastic, fantastic season nonetheless. It really showed that those team orders in Russia never needed to be played, because a driver of Hamilton's calibre on track is second to none. Didn't need team orders, but ruined it for himself and ruined it for his team. But there you go. On the Cruel War Championship anyway, and that's more important than any 5th world title. So, next up was Sebastian Vettel, and what can we say for Vettel? A solid enough weekend, qualified 3rd, couldn't get the measure of the Mercedes, but then Bottas was nowhere in the race. And Vettel ended up 2nd, did a brilliant overtake on him, and that was the end of that, really. A good race. So for that reason, Sebastian Vettel, I'm going to award you 8 points for the final race of the season. I think you did an okay job. A decent season, but faltered in a lot of places. Then we come to Max Verstappen. What a hero this weekend, I've got to say that, because at the start of the race and in the early laps, it looked like he'd be retiring, didn't it? He got past a Force India, then the Force India's just swept back past him. His engine was overheating, he was down on power. He slipped down all the way to 10th after a bad start as well. An initial good getaway, but the second phase of the start left him bogged down, back down there. And it looked like going to be a retirement, and yeah, in the end, he bagged the podium. A fantastic effort. He got past Bottas after Bottas cut the corner. The only driver not to receive a 5-second penalty either, Bottas, which was horseshit. But there we go. But anyway, Max Verstappen did it anyway, got past him. I think had he not been held up by Bottas for so long, he could have potentially challenged for second with Vettel. So, nonetheless, a solid performance this weekend by Verstappen, and reasserting the fact that the second half of the season for him has been much better than the first half. As the Cruel Wall shows as well, with all the minuses and the Palmers of the week. And yeah, he only got a Palmer last time because of his attitude, but it's going to be 10 points for Max Verstappen. I think that was a solid weekend by him. Yeah, to overcome those problems at the start and then to finish ahead of your teammate as well was brilliant. Really impressive. Next we have Daniel Ricciardo, leaving Red Bull at the end of this season for bigger and better things, hopefully at Renault. That's what he's expecting. Yeah, he's going to be a bit nervous with that result, isn't he? Let's be honest. But let's face it, he needed to move on to bigger and better things. He doesn't know what the Honda engine is going to be like next year, and the reliability issues he's had this year. Who can fault him? But this weekend, it wasn't a great weekend overall for him. He did out-qualify Max, fair play to him, but then in the race didn't have the measure of his teammate, as we have seen latterly this season. But yeah, an impressive performance nonetheless. A shame to see Ricciardo, leave for Red Bull without a podium. But nonetheless, an okay race weekend, but not in the measure of your teammate. So I'm going to score him 6.5 to finish off. I think that was a solid weekend, but could have been better. Then we come to Valtteri Bottas, the bottle job of the weekend. Qualifying second, less than a 10th off his teammate. He thought, come on Valtteri, let's get a win to end the season off. Even if Hamilton lets him by, that's fine. But, just let's get a win. Let's finish on a high. And where was he? Nowhere. P5 in the end. Disappointing. Really disappointing. Cut the corner so Max Verstappen couldn't overtake him, and Max got out the slipstream. But it's okay, because that's a Mercedes. No 5-second penalties for them, of course. Other cars that went wide and lost time did get 5-second penalties for going off the track. Horseshit FIA. This is what I mean about I don't agree with these 5-second penalties. Either everyone gets them or no one gets them. You can't do half-arsing things. So Valtteri Bottas finished about 30 seconds off P4 after 2 pit stops. Bottom job of the weekend is disqualified anyway, but I was going to give him a big fat 0 even if he wasn't disqualified, because that was horrendous. What must he be thinking going into 2019? What must Mercedes be thinking going into 2019? They'll be wishing that they had Ocon. I can guarantee that. I can guarantee it. Then we come to an impressive performance. Carlos Sainz finishing P6. A brilliant race really by him. An amazing strategy by Renault, keeping him out ages on those tyres at the start. Only made 1 stop. Fantastic. Worked really well. Obviously everyone 1 stop, but the way he did it, he got himself some clear air, some clear space, just go around at his own pace, didn't get any traffic, and leapfrogged the likes of Leclerc and Perez to get ahead of that battle, and then in the end finished P6. So a strong end to a good season by Sainz. I won't say it was perfect because there was issues at the start of this year, but once he got to grips with that Renault, he really did a solid job, and well deserved, really well deserved season by Sainz, it must be said. Is an area for improvement, of course, but finishing P6 with the Renault, fair play to him. I think he'll go to McLaren and he will offer them a lot. I'm not sure where McLaren will be next year, but good stuff nonetheless. A lot of last as well this weekend, a lot of lasts. A last time for Renault, with, you know, Sainz with Renault, and loads of... It's a shame, it was a good end to a season really. Quite a good race for Abu Dhabi as well. But Sainz, nonetheless, I'm going to score him a solid 9 points for that last race, because I think that's very fair. Drove well, team was smart as well, good stuff. Next up was P7, Charles Leclerc. Solid effort again after qualifying inside the top 10. He did an amazing job to finish P7. Yeah, I mean the kid's on to bigger, better things in it, going to Ferrari next year. It might be the same as what it was at Sauber at the start of this year. Took 3 races to get warmed up, then the results kept coming, didn't they, after that, and he's never really let up since. Shame that he just missed out. He did his best effort, didn't he, to get Sauber ahead of that Force India team, but it wasn't enough in the end. But a solid season by a solid rookie driver. He has firmly put Sauber where they deserve to be. He's done the best job he could in that respect. The team have done a fantastic job to give him the car that can score the points now. It's been a perfect season for Sauber, and what a turnaround from last season. So Charles Leclerc, bottom of the bill list. He certainly won't be bottom next year. And that's going to be 9 points to him. Solid job. Well done. Next up was Sergio Perez finishing P8. Some points to finish off Force India's season after the debacle that was going on with Haas, and they saying they don't deserve the prize money, and them saying, oh yes we do, oh no we don't, etc, etc. Yeah, Perez finished his season off okay. Strong result. Looked like it was going to be a double points finish for Force India before Ocon retired. But Perez, a perfect end to what has been a difficult season for him. Not just in terms of with the Force India, but the antics that happened at Singapore, of course, which he's never going to recover from the cruel wall, because I've lost all respect for him. But, you know, I'm very cut and shut, I'm afraid. I'm very down the line. You either break the rules or you don't. And it's as simple as that. And he broke the rules, and he broke the cruel wall terms and conditions. If you've not read them, there's a 247-page documentary. So, anyway, Sergio Perez, I've lost my train of thought because I'm talking bollocks. He's going to score 9 points, a solid weekend really. To say he come from 9th as well, 14th on the grid. Not a best in qualifying, but brought it back in the race, and that's what matters. Next up was the Haas pairing of Grosjean and Magnussen. Great for Haas to finish on a double points finish, even if it is just 9th and 10th. Did a perfect job, a solid weekend by the pair of them. Grosjean, of course, had the contact with Hulkenberg. Who can forget that at the start? The most dramatic start to Abu Dhabi ever. And yeah, the first time apparently Hulkenberg's ever been on his roof in a single-seater or any race car ever. So yeah, interesting one for Hulkenberg. Do I blame him? Slightly. But Hulkenberg didn't realise Grosjean was there. Grosjean thought he knew that Ocon... You know, I mean, it's just a racing incident. I completely agree with that. So yeah, so for this weekend, I shall score Grosjean 7 points and K-Mag, I think, 8 points. I know K-Mag finished behind Grosjean and didn't do qualify as well, but I'm just taking a point or two off for that incident, because I think had it been anyone else that would have backed out of it, you know, hindsight, wonderful thing. And K-Mag didn't get into Q3, but did a fantastic job to finish in the points. Benefited from a few retirements ahead, of course, but that's just how the season's unfolded. Your luck goes your way sometimes. Finishing P11 and with a 5-second time penalty for irrelevant bullshit because he went off the track. Didn't gain an advantage, I would like to add, because he went well wide. But the FIA thought he did. Was Fernando Alonso, the outgoing double-time world champion with Renault back in 05 and 06. Done an amazing job for the sport. Really been chilled out these last few years with Honda. Sitting on jet chairs, having a go at filming. It's been a real asset with a personality to the last few years, even if the results haven't been there themselves. Shame he couldn't end his season and his career on a points finish, but 11th, who cares? He did some smashing donuts as well, as did Hamilton, as did Vettel. He did some brilliant donuts, and it was nice to see when the two drivers of Vettel and Hamilton, you know, sandwiched him, and they went round as a three together. It was perfect. A really nice way to end his career. I'm sure he'll be shedding a few tears on his private plane home, but fair play to Alonso. I'm going to score him 7 points to end the season off. I'm not going to be overly keen on, you know, I can't just be giving him 10 points just because he's ended his career. You know, it's got to remain firm. Shame he didn't get the points. Did a solid job though. Then we come to Brendan Hartley, who was 12th. Wasn't really anywhere, to be honest with you, Hartley. Yeah, out-qualified his teammate because Gasly blew up going over the line in the qualifying, which would have easily put him into Q2. And then in the race, Hartley was nowhere. Gasly was battling for points. So Hartley finishing P12. A difficult end to a difficult year for him. He deserves a second chance. He really does deserve to do one more season with the team. Talks about them waiting for Dan Tinkton to score some more super license points and then get him signed, or to get Albon out of his Nissan Formula E contract. All to play for really with that one. But yeah, for Hartley, personally I think he deserves a second chance, another go. He was showing some strong pace in certain races, especially such as like Austin, where he came from the back of the grid and things like that. But not to worry, it's the Red Bull gods will do what they have to do. But to end the season off on 5 points, middle of the road 5. Then we come to Lance Stroll. We don't really need to talk about him because he's disqualified anyway, but he finished 13th, which is alright. Finished ahead of Van Dorn and Sirotkin. So, okay, he finished ahead of a Williams and his teammate. Okay, so he finished ahead of a McLaren and his teammate. Great stuff, Stroll. You were out-qualified by Sirotkin though, weren't you? So, sucks to be you. Then we do come to Stoffel Van Dorn, and had a great race really. I've got to be honest, he had a great battle. Points were never possible. He was out for a really, really long time on those first set of tyres, and he did the best job he could, let's be honest. He did a good job. And yeah, it's a shame that he's going to Formula E, and I'm going to really look forward to seeing him in that category. I think he'll do well. I think he'll deliver on what he couldn't deliver in Formula 1. So it is a step down, of course it is. But Formula E is on the rise now, so Van Dorn, I'm going to miss you, you know, because I did like you. And I still do like you. I think you never really got your chance at McLaren. But yeah, so I'm going to score Van Dorn for those fantastic manoeuvres he was doing and holding off traffic and holding off people. 7 points as well. Solid job. Good end to a season. Once you knew you were leaving McLaren, you relaxed and chilled out. Just wish we could have seen more of that racing etiquette at the start of the season. Then, of course, we come to the last finisher, Sergei Sirotkin. Now, I'm just going to say this with Sergei. I've said it before, I got it wrong with him. I really misjudged him. Did he deserve that Williams seat for next year? Yes, he did. He did deserve it. Does Kubica deserve it? I'd like to see him have a go. So I've got no issues with that. But Sirotkin, I got it all wrong with you, mate. And I really do apologise for that. I've ruined your chance of winning the cruel wall because I was a dick. But yeah, for your race this weekend, you had some good battles with Alonso and Van Dorn and your teammate as well, which we saw, which was nice. So I'm going to award you 5 points for your race, a good middle of the road 5, because at the end of the day you did finish last of your runners. But for the fact that I was a twat and I ruined your results, I'm going to score you 10 bonus points to give you 15. I know I've done it before where I give him another 10, but that really sort of puts him round about where he deserved to be for the season. So yeah, so I'm going to score him 15 points for Sirotkin. It's really just a consolation prize. I'm sorry I f***ed your results up, but I think in the early stages he maybe only got a few points anyway. But, you know, there was an irrelevant Palmer of the week there, and I was just a dick. Yeah, I'm sorry. Then we come to the non-finishers, of course, mainly mechanical problems with all of these cars, except for one. First one on this list, that was the last of the retirements, was Pierre Gasly. He was battling for the points, looked like he was going to get either 9th or 10th. Solid enough job, points were possible. 6 laps from the end, his engine gave way, and that was that. And it was such a disappointment to see. Gasly drove really well. He did a solid job. Yeah, what can we say? Gasly, a solid job. I know you're retired, but you'd proven to me in that race that you were getting points. So normally it's the middle of the road 5, but for Gasly this time it's 7 as well. It's the 7 wall again. But yeah, solid job by you. Next up was Esteban Ocon. Did a brilliant race, really. He was in the points, running about in 10th, and then his engine failed. But he pitted a lot earlier than Perez, so I don't know where he'd have been. He did a good job to get back into the points because it looked like the strategy had gone wrong. But I don't know if his tyres had held up and whether he would have held off the likes of Gasly, because he did retire first, Ocon. So for that reason, I am just going to award him a middle of the road 5 to finish his season off and potentially his Formula 1 career. He's saying that, yeah, he's a Mercedes reserve driver for next year and hopes to be back in 2020. Ocon should have been in the Mercedes car for next year. I'm just going to say that now. He deserved it. I really do. He's had his chance as Bottas, and these last few races that he's had where he's made silly mistakes, it's because he's under so much pressure because he's desperate to drive. So there you go. Then we come to Marcus Ericsson, and it's just going to have to be a middle of the road 5 points for Marcus, and I'm sorry for that, but we couldn't really see what you were capable of. If he'd have finished potentially points, potentially got Sauber the head of Force India, but we don't know, and we'll never know. And he's off to IndyCar next year. Fair play to him. Marcus, you've done a solid job this year. I've really enjoyed watching your race. You've scored the first points for Sauber at Bahrain, so you deserve full respect for that. And well done, really well done. Your end points don't show what you were capable of that year. You've had a lot of bad luck, so fantastic effort. Good luck in IndyCar. Then we come to Kimi Raikkonen, outbound from Ferrari, heading to Sauber next year. And what happened? His car had a complete shutdown with about, how many laps were they in the race? About nine laps in. So, yeah, I'm afraid I can only score Raikkonen in the middle of the road 5 as well, because what else can I do? Couldn't see enough of the race to judge where he'd have been. Would he have been ahead of Bottas? Would he have done what Bottas did and were a bottle job in the last race? Or would he have pushed the Red Bulls? Looked like he had the match for him, but we're just never going to know. And then last but not least, Nico Hülkenberg. And again, Nico Hülkenberg, middle of the road, 5 points for him. Fantastic performance with your roll. Your double roll, it must be said, it was brilliant. That halo, did it keep him stuck in the car? Or was it just the fact that the way that car was propped up against the barrier, with or without the halo, he wasn't getting out? It's a tough one to say, it's a tough one to tell. That's for the FIA to judge. Have a look at the data, have a look at the footage back and see. Glad that Nico Hülkenberg was okay, of course. A shame for him to end that season like he did. But he's back with Renault next year, he's got a strong teammate with Ricciardo, and let's see how he gets on. So, of course, it's that time again where it's time for Palmer of the Week. So let me just go and get Jolyon. And then after Jolyon Palmer of the Week, it's time to do the results, the end score. We'll find out who's champion on this episode as well. So stick around for that. Let me just go get Jolyon. Jolyon! Jolyon! Here he is, everyone. It's Jolyon Palmer for Palmer of the Week for the final time. We can't see you, Jolyon. You're going to have to come on the screen a bit more. There you go. It was almost there. It was with us in spirit there, Jolyon, I think. So there you go. That was the Palmer of the Week. So it was awarded to Valtteri Bottas. He's disqualified anyway, but he deserved it because he was a bottle job this weekend. He certainly was. So now it is that time to award the drivers. Before you watch the video, comment down below who do you think is going to be champion, and yeah, we'll wait and see. The scores have been brought up to date now. Of course, we had the half-term report, and now it is time for the results. So, of course, we're going to do the 3 disqualifieds first. I'm going to do them in championship order. So it's Stroll that was 20th, of course, so disqualified. Then it was Bottas, the bottle job, disqualified. Oh, sorry, Palmer. knocked you off. But there you go, Palmer's face is disqualified, and then Hamilton is also disqualified. So that's them done with. Then we come to the next driver that wasn't disqualified but had a lot of minus points, was Sergio Perez with minus 49,851. So there's Perez down there. Really ruined his chances of winning this cruel wall with that Singapore Grand Prix because his attitude stank and his racing style stank as well. Then it is time for Stoffel Van Dorn. Van Dorn ends the season with 74 points. Didn't really have a chance this season, did he? Struggled a lot in the early races. Delivered towards the end. Look at that, the last 3 races after he knew he was going. He did a fantastic job, but yeah, 74 points for Van Dorn. He's really the last of the ones that was scored seriously. Then it comes to Romain Grosjean, who finishes the season with 83 points. A dismal season really for Grosjean. He delivered well in the last few races, but overall disappointed in the first few rounds. Lucky not to get a Palmer of the Week at Baku as well. He avoided that, but he is, I think, the most Palmer driver. He's got 3 there, so yeah, lucky not to get more. But there you go. 83 points after scoring 3 Palmers of the Week. More than respectable. Palmer of the Week is 10 points off your score, just in case you weren't aware. Then we come to Sergei Sorokin, and after I awarded him the 15 points, I realised that he's actually scored 99, so not quite tipping the century over, but I think for a Williams driver, that's respectable. 99 points for Sergei Sorokin. Thanks very much, Sergei. I'm sorry I was a dick to you this season. You didn't deserve it, and I really hope you carry on racing somewhere. You deserve to be on the grid at a decent championship. I really got it wrong with you. Next up is Max Verstappen with 109 points. Good stuff by him. Yeah, recovered the season well, it must be said. 109 points for him. Good effort. If it wasn't so shit at the start of the season, where would he have been up there? He'd have potentially been winning it, but there you go. Max, put your ideas up. Then, with 115 points, we have Nico Hülkenberg, and that silly mistake at Spa really cost him. That's cost him 10 points there, so where could he have been? It was vying, it was close to leading it, you know, at the halfway stage, but all went wrong really after Belgium. So, good effort, but you're out of it. Then we come to Force India's Esteban Ocon with 115.5 points. He picked Hülkenberg by just 0.5. And again, for Ocon, where would he have been without those silly mistakes in the last 2 races, taking out Verstappen and taking everything out at Mexico? Shame, it could have been a winner, but that's it. Next up we have Sebastian Vettel with 116 points. This is how close it gets now. Half a point ahead of Ocon, 1 point ahead of Nico Hülkenberg. He got 2 Palmer, well, he got 1 Palmer of the Week and E-Day of the Week. He ends the season mid-table. Then we come to Brendan Hartley, who scored 120.5 points. So, Brendan Hartley avoided a Palmer of the Week all season, but just really didn't deliver in some races, which is a shame. But I think he deserves another chance, another season with Toro Rosso. Then from there, get rid of him. They've got Torpedo, for Christ's sake, so he's going to be an embarrassment next year anyway. Then we come to Danny Rick. 127 points on the board for Danny Rick. And yeah, it was really, for Ricciardo, a few poor performances against when Verstappen was really doing well, and most notably when he took out Verstappen where he got minus 20 that weekend, so not impressive at all. Then we come to Carlos Sainz with 129, so got the measure of his teammate on the cruel wall by a whopping 14 points, so good effort by Sainz, and crept up the leaderboard towards the latter half of the season. 3 9s in the last 4 races, got him up there. Then we have Pierre Gasly with 131. Again, another solid drive by Gasly, definitely deserving of the Red Bull seat. Fair play to him. Good stuff, 131 points on the board. More than respectable for your first season on the cruel wall. And now we come to the top 5, so we've got 5 more drivers left. And in 5th place it is Marcus Ericsson with 133. He leaves the sport with his head held high, One of the best seasons of his career, without a doubt. The points didn't really show the outcome of what he could have done. The last couple of races he was unfortunate not to score points in with a car that was clearly capable. So, good luck with IndyCar. But, yeah, you've gone. Here we go now. The shock is that Season 1 champion of the Cruel Wall, Fernando Alonso, is in 4th. He drops down the order and finishes with 137 points. Again, a respectable season for Alonso. No Partners of the Week, which is crucial, as you can tell by the rest of the scores. And yeah, a fantastic way for him to go out. He didn't go out as champion this year, but Season 1 champion, and he's won the hearts of everyone this year, hasn't he? Then we come to the top 3 now, so it's crucial. It's between, we have got Charles Leclerc, Kevin Magnussen, and Kimi Raikkonen left. So here we go. For the podium positions, it is Kevin Magnussen with 142 points. The halfway leader of this Cruel Wall ends the season 4th after a couple of poor performances, with a 3 in Singapore and no points awarded at Mexico because they never even bothered turning up, really. So now it's down to Charles Leclerc and Kimi Raikkonen. The pair of them are swapping seats next year. Leclerc to the Ferrari, Raikkonen to Sauber. Here we go. Who do you think's won it? Well, in second place, it's going to be Charles Leclerc with 153 points. He's runner-up this season, which means with 154, he gets pipped by 1 solitary point, and it is Kimi Raikkonen that is the Season 2 Cruel Wall champion. Another season comes to an end on the Cruel Wall, and it is Kimi Raikkonen that won it. Fantastic effort. He was on the podium on the Season 1. I think he finished 3rd that year, and now he's gone and won it. It won him. It took his first win in 5 years at the US Grand Prix, and that's what won him this season with the 15 points scored there. So congratulations to Kimi Raikkonen, and I think we've got some guests to finish off the season. Come on in, everyone. There we go. We've got Jolyon Palmer, and it's UJ Day. Look at that. You look like a little elf, UJ. There you go. Hey, there we go. We're finishing off with the party poppers. There we go. Dad's only popped one. Come on, Jolyon. You're popping less party poppers than you scored points. There you go. So, and that's the bag. Okay. Before you go. Yeah, you come back. Sum the race up in what? Sum the season up in one word, UJ. Silent. Not talking. Still not talking. What about you?
Boring.
Boring. Okay, there you go. You may leave. Thank you very much. They've been the Cruel Wall guests of honour or shame. I'm not too sure why I'm there. But yeah, thanks a lot for watching, guys. This has been Season 2 of the Cruel Wall, first season on the Oversteer Network, and a massive thank you to all of you guys for watching this and for really getting involved, leaving your thoughts and feedback on the races as always. And it means a lot. And also thanks a lot to Mickey for editing these videos and for getting me on Oversteer and for making all this possible. The amount of views, the amount of comments I get is just fantastic, and it's really taking off this season, and I promise that next season will be better, and we're just going to keep going from here. So thank you ever so much for watching, guys, and as always, much love.